So this is Wuching. I lived here. Sorry about the view, you missed something. I used to play with my drone, which I had on the other side of the train. There's big fields. I know this hotel. My apartment is just like I used to live in. It's just behind these apartments. It's just a stone throw away, and it was a very, very good community. Like I explained about, this is the most friendliest place in the world. If you decide and you're bored about life or anything, just look for this place. It's called Wuching. It's in Tianjin, just a few minutes away from Beijing, and just a few minutes away from Tianjin, and you'll get really a friendly welcome. I cannot vouch for every place, for everyone there, but the community I resided in was the most friendliest community, and I really enjoyed it. Now let me talk a little bit about my stay here. The reason why I left Wuching and moved back to Beijing is because I started gaining so much weight that I had to go back, find a place, change my environment, and lose some weight. That's one of the main reasons we left Wuching and moved back to Beijing. What's the other reason? Just be looking at the traveling speed. Okay, what's the other reason? The reason why we moved to Wuching is because it was the best location. I was doing in the shipping business at that time, doing a lot of shipping, and I didn't get an opportunity to do a lot of films, but I wasn't really active on YouTube, and I used to ship from the Tianjin. There is a port in Tianjin. It's quite one of the biggest ports, but it's very, very strict because there was one of the biggest explosions. So sometimes I would have had to move my goods from Tianjin and make sure that they go via Guangzhou, because Guangzhou is a little bit less strict and it's easy to fill up a container and have masses of goods. Now we are arriving in Tianjin. So before we go into Tianjin, what else is that's the reason why we moved to Wuching. I enjoyed Wuching so much that if I had an opportunity, I will come back at any given moment. Now we're in Tianjin. I'll show you the skyline. There's laws. You can see the skyline of Tianjin from here. Okay, how did I end up in Wuching? I lived in Guan, just on the outskirts of Beijing. And if you know Dashing Airport, you just go past the Dashing Airport. On the other side, it's now Guan. It was I can't say it was friendly, but the reason why we got there is because we got offered an apartment by this very wealthy Chinese guy, because the Chinese guy's wife and my wife, they were once colleagues, and the gentleman, he had actually lived and worked in Africa, so he thought that it would have been kind. That's what you experience in China. People, they offer you things by being kind and by being generous, and we lived there for 6 months. It was one of the hugest apartments I've lived in my life. I wasn't a YouTuber then, until the moment we had to leave. We lived there for 6 months in a massive apartment. I remember the estate agents, they were asking me which apartment I was living, the address, and they were assuming that I was a very, very massively wealthy person, and the fact that I was black, they'd never seen a black person and living in considering the apartment that I was living in, that it was a very expensive apartment. I enjoyed my time there until I had to move back to Wuching. Now before I lived in Wuhan, I lived in Beijing, so I can say those areas I really enjoyed it. But I've had the opportunity to travel around China. So now we've arrived in Tianjin. So you see, this journey was something like a good 20 minutes plus, and it's 100 and something kilometers, just over 150 kilometers. So anyway, I'll show you the next chapter, which is going to be our hotel. Other than our hotel, which I'm just going to show you Tianjin. I've got so many videos of Tianjin, including the spas. I'm sure I've got videos of, now, yeah, I do have a video when we're traveling to the port, and I've got some pictures when I was doing shipping at the dock sides and everything. So anyway, stay tuned. I hope you enjoy and like the next video.